Then there was a moment where I sounded too Australian. It was like wanting you to know before things become. And it was like, oh, how do we get this rap sounding like it's cool? Hey, I'm Vera Blue, and this is what inspired Hold. The whole idea of the song is that you feel whole with someone else, and it's like someone else having a hold of your heart and making you feel comfortable, making you feel comfortable with who you are as well. It's a weird one because at the time I didn't really fully relate to it. I guess I was kind of coming out of a relationship, so it was a little bit different. So I guess it's inspired by the feeling of being in love and something that I have felt before, and maybe something that, you know, might happen again in the future. I was listening to a lot of FKA Twigs and Banks and Alt J, and I loved the way they kind of blended the electronica with the folky style. And, you know, the folk music is something that I grew up with, and I played a lot during my teens, and when you separate all the different parts, they sound like they almost could be completely different songs. There's a lot of choir moments. It sounds a little bit like you're in a church, or there's a couple of moments where it could be in a trap song. I jumped on the mic and just started singing. It's pretty weird, a bit of gibberish. I think it's how a lot of artists write these days. It's kind of just singing into the mic, whatever melodies come to your head and whatever even lyrics come to your head. So at the time I was just probably going, and then we kind of chopped it up, and from that Andy found like a little vocal sample of the which kind of happens in the verses. It happens a little bit in the choruses as well. So that was kind of like a sound that just kept coming back in the song. There was a moment where we were like, we've got too many words and we need to somehow try and separate them. We overlapped them, so it was like, when I am yours and love is out, when I am yours, and they kind of just like went together and sounded as one, which was a really cool different thing to do. The first lyric was a little bit controversial for us because we were thinking about the fact that it kind of sounded a little bit like, you know, 50 Shades of Grey. We were like, oh, are people going to take it this way? And then we were kind of like, no, it's more of a metaphor for, you know, someone who, you know, ties you down and keeps you feeling grounded and keeps your feet on the ground, all that kind of thing that comes with being in a relationship. So that was okay. We got over that idea. The song Chandelier by Sia had just come out, so we wanted a chorus that had that kind of euphoric sound. So when that, you know, that first note hits the it's very like, you know, everyone's just kind of like, oh, makes you feel really good, which is, you know, it's a really nice feeling, and it's a nice thing to feel live as well, seeing the audience just going, which is actually, it's really awesome. So I hadn't really worked with electronic music much, so everything Andy was doing, I was like, that's sick, that's cool. So I was like always in the background going, I love that. And there was a moment where he was side chaining the synth, and it was kind of like on every kick with the kick, which was really cool. And then in the chorus, it's like a double time side chain, so it sounds a little bit dancey. It's more like, but in the verse it was like, so it was a little bit more with the kick, but I think that was a really, really cool thing that we've continued to use. When Tom played the acoustic guitar in the track, it was something that, it was the most beautiful sound. I just fell in love with the way he kind of separated the notes. It was, you know, beautiful arpeggio notes, and it came in perfectly. When you actually listen to the stem, there's a couple of moments where you can hear him breathing, which I think is really cool. You can't really hear it in the full mix of the song, but it's something that just glistens over the electronic production, which I think works really beautifully. We were like, let's try and like fit a rap in the song as well, but not a rap, kind of like just a moment to kind of allow the chorus to really fly. So we kind of, I've never really done a rap before, so I went up to the mic and they're like, just see how you feel and just try and sing whatever you want. And there was like a moment where it was like, wanting you to know for things like, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I like, do I sound silly? And then there was a moment where I sounded too Australian. It was like wanting you to know before things become. And it was like, oh, how do we get this rap sounding like it's cool? And then eventually we kind of just went into the flow where it was like, wanting you to know before things become overgrown. There are reasons why I am this way. It's kind of like, eventually it fit, but it was pretty weird. With some really cool distortion and vocal effects and stuff, we made it work. Performing it live is like one of my favourite things. Now that the song's been out for a while, I really enjoy hearing the audience sing it back to me. Especially the chorus. I find sometimes I will just hand the microphone over to the audience and they're just going, yeah, it makes me really feel so much joy. I see a lot of like, you know, even fully grown men just on shoulders screaming Hold at the top of their lungs, and it's awesome. It makes me feel lots of joy.